every battle we want more. In this case paradise, we're living the dream. Talking about comics and more. It's another team.
Hey, how is everybody tonight? Hello, Elk, I see you there. Sorry about the black screen. We are morning Chilliwack with you. Well, thank you. Um, Definitely not morning leaving this particular apartment or room. The landlord is a jerk. I paid my rent, and then even after I had paid my rent, I'm not sure what day I paid my rent on, whether it was Good Friday or whether it was a Saturday. Um, but he had listed it. I did some looking online. He had listed it on the Sunday, this apartment, before even talking to me. And he listed it about it available the 15th, as far as I could tell. That's what he put the date. He listed it that day, not even knowing whether I was wanting to stay through May or whatever. And he's ripping me off of $350 because I paid for all of April, and he wants me out of here by the 15th. And I'm not fighting him on that. I've already got my plane ticket back to Ontario. I'm flying from Vancouver into Kitchener, and my dad's picking me up there, and I'm gonna go stay with him up in Hepworth, Ontario for a while. And for those that don't know where that is, and you might not even know where this is, it is between Owen Sound and Wyerton, Ontario. But you can always look all those up on a map if you need to. And yeah, thanks, Al. But yeah, it's it's a shame. I probably, and then he confronted me on. He had said something. I think I forget what day it was before I paid my rent. I think, or maybe after I paid my rent. I'm not sure about the fact that something that I was doing in the privacy of my room. My cottage has a family on Sable Beach. Oh yeah, cool. I know where Sable Beach is. I worked there one summer in my teens. But he, well, I was doing the thing that he was asked about, whether in my privacy in my room, which I'm entitled to do. It's nothing illegal. It's personal, and it's not like smoking, because he said smoking outside. I don't smoke, so it's more of a, let's say, intimate nature. And he said the odor from doing this was leaking, somehow going out into his hallway and getting into the carpet that's on his stairs to go downstairs and dirtying them or making them smell or whatever. And then the Tuesday he approached me about saying, "Oh, I want a deposit now," and and that he wants to secure for like 6 months or something like that. And I'm like, "No, I'll be out at the end of the month." And then we got in a big argument. I almost left that night, and then I'm like, "Okay, if I'm leaving now, it's only like the first or the second, maybe the third." And it's like, "I want my money back." He's like, "No, no, no, no." Basically gave me to the 15th, although we had a big argument yesterday, uh, sort of a thing. He came to my door. "Well, so what you doing?" "Well, what are you doing?" you know, uh, well, I won't say burning incense. Like I said, it was a more personal nature, urges that I'd say every human, 99% of human beings have. And, you can do it with other people, but a lot of, unfortunately, sometimes you have to do it by yourself, especially if you can't find somebody to do it with. Oh, well, okay, I guess you haven't heard, you weren't here quite yet. I am going back to Ontario. I'm going to be sort of moving in with my dad. My dad has a trailer that I can live in his backyard. Um, and he's going to move it next to the house, as close to the house as he can get it. Um, and hopefully, I'll be able to have internet and all that. I'm not sure. So I'm leaving next Monday. I might be able to do next Tuesday stream. I'm not sure yet. Um, there's a lot of things to figure out once I get there in that regard. But so the guy's just trying to scam money off me. Probably should have been your first plan. What, to go up to my dad's? Um, it was in a sense. Well, I wouldn't say it was my first plan. Well, if you know, I what I in a lot of ways I don't. Some ways I do. Some ways I don't regret coming out here. I thought it was something that you know, calling. I had an urging. I thought it might have been from God. It's been with me for, like I've said, about 10 years. So I figured I'd come out here, see things didn't work out. So, and then especially with what went on in the last week here, or just over a week and a half. It's like, okay, it's definitely time to get out of this place. Turns out it was just bad gas. Well, I don't know what it was that made the carpet smell or whatever, that he had to clean it or whatever. Uh, but it wasn't me. I know that because what I'm talking about, there can be a smell if it's wet, we'll say, but if it dries up, there is no smell. And, it's dried in, like, I don't know how it would stay wet length of time. I don't really want to say the word. Like I said, it's something that you can do with most people do it with one other person. Some people do it with some people do it several other people, usually another. But unfortunately, sometimes when you're single, you have to do it by yourself. Wow, horrific implied details. I'm trying not to do any done with vacation. No. Well, some people do have a vocation in this regard. You talking about tug of war with a cyclops? Yes. I guess that's a way to put it. Tim. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Tim. I did grab the link if you want to come on. Maybe I'm just trying to be delicate about the subject matter. Let's see. I'm putting Cross Comics Warriors 2 this time. Yeah, I just need to crack open a can of toilet cleaner and slug back some. I'll be better then. Well, I am questioning why you walked into a discussion about, because my landlord, super, um, uh, about a week and a half ago, came to my door, knocked on it, and said that me doing that was creating an odor and stinking up his carpet that's on his stairs going downstairs. Of course, that is BS, and I've looked into it to make sure, especially after he said something, because I was pretty sure it was BS, but check things out just to make sure. And now he's basically, um, then he approached me a couple days later saying that, he wanted a deposit and, wanted me to commit to like 3 to 6 months or something staying here. And I don't know what's going to happen. So it's like, yeah, I can't do that. And I'm not giving you money. I'm not putting down a deposit. Like I've been here 2 months. I'm not messing up the joint. This is just craziness. And this, of course, when he approached me about this is 2 or 3 days after he had listed this place on Kijiji asking about the deposit from somebody, whoever wanted the room. And he had a move-in date of the 15th, which is the date that he's given me to move out, coincidentally. Well, you didn't know what was going on, why I was this was my last stream in Chilliwack. But it is what it is. Like I said, I'm leaving Chilliwack next Monday, going to my dad. My plane leaves at 10:30 p.m. from here. I get in at, well, the plane's supposed to land at about 5:45 in Kitchener, Ontario. No, I'm not. There is a wood floor where I am staying. I'm and nothing in that regards ended up on the floor. We'll say that. So it's like, oh my Christian detector is going off. Your landlord is telling you not to strangle the poultry. Jesus save us all. Obviously, Chilliwack is is misnamed. Yeah. Well, I don't think he's saying it because, like he said, somehow he thinks his carpet's getting dirty. And I've informed him. I've done the research. You're very much mistaken, but he doesn't care. Like I said, he already listed it before we even had our major conversation. And then yesterday we had a major conversation, we'll say, which was even more heated. And yesterday I purchased my ticket back to Ontario. Called my dad and well, I called my dad before I purchased the ticket. I was going to be purchasing the ticket anyways. I just didn't want to know where the hell I was going, except for back to Ontario. And at this, I think anybody would be this conversation would be very frustrated, ticked off, to say the least, and express.
Yo,
Hey Tim, how are you? Maybe with you here we can divert.
you know what? If somebody would approach me with that same question, I'd look at them like I'm concerned for them. Like, sir, are you okay? Do you have trouble with control or something? Do you do you have do you, is your discharge a little funky?
Yeah.
Let me,
Yeah.
let me, let me see if I can find. I got a clip for you. Talking. I got a clip for you.
Hold on, I gotta share this out too. Oh, oh, Oh,
Wait, I think I got something for you.
okay. Hold on.
I got it queued up.
Not going to be too.
You ready?
I'm not sure.
Hold on.
I didn't just masturbate in the study room. I masturbated everywhere. Everywhere!
Okay, that's appropriate but not appropriate.
I'm sorry, I had to play that one.
Okay, let's see. Elk says if you're interested in a job, you should get on social services first at your dad's place. Then you could get a job at a call center job. They hire anyone who will take their $45 course or even refund the course after a month or so of work. Well, one, it's going to depend on where the call center is because the major problem with my dad
India.
is yeah. And two things. Depends on the type of call center. I don't mind calls coming in, but I don't really want to call people. You know, dead call people or whatever. Like scammers or. Is in the middle of nowhere. For those that know where Hepworth, Ontario is, like Sabo Beach is 10 kilometers. The next town is like probably 5 or 10 kilometers.
How much is that in miles?
I don't know. Use a converter on Google. Yeah. Anywhere in Canada, no, the jobs are all inbound calls. Oh, well, I'll definitely think about it. For something like that, I probably want to get a separate phone.
Whatever you do, don't refer to your female employees as call girls. So you work at a call center, huh? Does that make you a call girl?
Or service. Yeah, that's good. Maybe I'll definitely think about that. I've seen some stuff on social media about that, of course. And I take it you're talking where I don't have to go to a center. They just call my the phone number that I give the call center. Well, they call the call center number and it gets routed to me. And make sure everybody's hitting that like button and sharing this out too, if you guys can. But yeah, yesterday was a really stressful day, shall we say? And you know, so, but it's a little disconcerting, disheartening. But it is what it is. You need your own landline, which you can get for 50 a month. Yeah, they don't use your phone number. Yeah, that might be a problem at my dad's place because I'm not sure whether you heard. I'm going to be staying in a camper outside. So he doesn't have the room inside, but he has a camper of some sort outside. Your phone number will never be used. Yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't. Hey, Aqua, how are you? Yeah, I didn't think that. Well, by my phone number, I just figured they'd wrote it. When you're done with the Joe stuff and the misogyny, I want to ask you about Matrix 4. I guess we're done with that for now. And hello, Undead, how are you? How is everybody tonight? Okay, what do you want to ask me? Good night, Spoon. Goodnight Spoon about Matrix 4. I have seen it. I think it was all right, but
Uh,
I, I'm not sure really whether I buy the. Well, I'm not doing
Did they
too
make
bad.
one for it?
Did
they
Yeah,
make
yeah, they did recently. I'm not sure whether it was direct to video or whether it was in theaters for a bit, but yeah, it
I
was
kind of
released in the last couple of years.
stopped paying attention after the first one.
Yeah, the first one I would definitely say is the best.
Yeah.
Second one is I'm not sure which one it is. Second or third one I think is better. I think the second one is it's probably better than the fourth, but the third's the second. Uh, Goodnight Spoon says it was a made-for-TV movie. Alex says, run a landline out your window and make it happen. I work on my back patio in the summer. Yeah, well, it's also a question of whether my dad will want to, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to be there either.
Well, I mean, why not? He's your dad. He should, I think you'd have a lot more time there than anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm sure I can stay pretty much as long as I want, but he lives up north. I would prefer to be out of that area by the winter because
Oh, yeah,
in the
winter.
winter
Yeah.
it's going to be very cold. He gets, usually he gets got a lot more snow than Hamilton, and he usually gets each snowfall. It is, during the winter is usually 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
But
Well, better than being where you are now, I guess.
yeah, just barely. Well, not just barely. No, I have a passionate hatred for the Matrix and Matrix fans, but I enjoyed the last one. Oh, okay, cool. When did you see it, Good Night Man? How long ago? I seen it. I think I seen it just before my mom died. Maybe a month or two at best. Maybe a week or two, or was it after? I forget. That sort of time is a blur now. And it's been there's something that seems like it's been way longer, but it also doesn't seem this long. It's been just over 6 months since my mom passed. Just over 4 months since I've quote unquote been out on my own. Oh, you're watching it now? Okay, cool, I guess. Oh, by the last one, you mean number 3? Good Night Spoon. And I'm not sure whether it sounds like I'm making excuses, Antioch. I'm not trying to, anyways. But on another completely note, I was at the dollar store today, called a dollar store here in Canada called Dollarama, and I end up getting a comic book for $3, a graphic novel actually called. Here, let me. Astonisher.
Okay.
There's some. I haven't read it yet. I'd say I'd probably read it on the plane, but seeing as how the
Yeah.
plane, seeing as the plane is taking off at 10:30, it's a 4-hour flight or just over 4-hour flight. Uh,
You gonna be able to
you
take
know,
everything you got there with you?
pretty much everything. But the only 2 things I'm not going to be able to take with me is a laundry hamper that I got, a small one, or laundry basket, I guess you would more call it.
Right.
Which I might give to my um, the other person that he has staying here, just so it's not his. It only cost me like $2 or $3, or $4, 4.50 or something like that. I'm not sure the price is on the bottom. I can't see it. And a TV that I got for $40 at a place called Value Village, which gave me a bigger monitor to my laptop, which I don't really want to see him get, with him ripping me off a half a month's rent. And I might be able to do that. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to do something with that, like go to the board or whatever, a landlord tenant board here in BC, or approach them, or well, technically I wrote them, but I'm not sure whether they'll be able to do anything about getting me my half a month's rent back. I know there's a couple of people that my cousin says that they should be able to, but pretty much good night, Spoon. Well, yes and no. Last not last last Tuesday or Wednesday, your landlord will not accept a laundry hamper from you under. Probably not. It's gonna stay here in the room. He can throw it out and do whatever he wants with it. I don't care. Number 4, he meant by the last one. Good night, Spoon says, I like the end of 3. Hold up, you were given 6 days to move. Well, he came to me, like I said, I'm not sure whether it was not the Sunday that just passed, but the Sunday before that, or Monday. I forget exactly what day he came to me. I know it was after I gave him the rent, and he said, and he had put up a notice on Kijiji for renting this apartment on the Sunday. I went found his ad for it. I recognized the picture in it and all that, and it, said about and it said it was put up 10 days ago, which was the Sunday. Yesterday was Monday. Like, I'm meaning like a week ago. A week, not like yesterday. This all started last week. Like I said, he came knocking on my door, I think the Sunday or the Monday last week, saying about the initial thing about, he asked whether I, do the deed, shall we say, in my room by myself. And I'm like, this is a very strange question. I felt very awkward. But I answered.
You should have asked him if he wanted to know in details. You have sketches. You could.
Yeah, but anyways.
This one I call over the balcony. This one I call off the backboard.
But anyways, he approached me saying about that, and I'm like, okay, fine. I won't do this again while in your house. And I haven't. Astonishingly enough.
Wait a minute, did you just admit it? Did you just admit it on your show?
Well, sort of, I guess. Like it's a natural human thing, right? Not that that's
Shame on you.
Way too much information for everybody.
TMI. Anyway, shame on you.
But then the Wednesday, I went down to make something to eat. Well, I don't think he's Christian, but I guess he could be the other one. There's no one else. Well, he asked just because he says he smelled this odor, and he thinks that odor is what caused his, carpet to stink, in his, the stair carpet to stink.
That makes me think. Is he think you're whacking it in the staircase?
Yeah.
Like from your room?
Yeah. From my door, it's like I don't know, a couple feet from my door, but you can see basically how far I am right here from my door. you know. So it's like, really? But like I said, he came to me, and again, like I said, on the Saturday he had put up, oh no, the Sunday he had put up an ad about renting this, and on the ad it says the 15th for move-in date. I've actually got, and it's on Kijiji for under rentals on Craigslist. I'm not sure whether short term, long term, whatever, probably long term, but because I just want renting or whatever there, and I found it today. I just started looking. He was like, yeah, it's like that's like 10 feet. You can do that, join OnlyFans. Yeah, well, my release, shall we call it, isn't going no 10 feet. It's I tried to make it controlled so it's not even going like 6 inches, shall we say. Um, or less. So it's like, but anyways, he approaches, I'm downstairs eating, and he approaches me and he says like, well, I'm gonna need a deposit from you, if you're staying beyond this month, and all that. And I want you to commit to like, 2 or 3 months. And I'm like, no, I'm not giving you a deposit, like, you didn't ask for one when I moved in. I haven't been wrecking the joint, you see this room. Has it looked any real different except for, things different places since, my first stream here? Maybe my bed's been made a couple times, but not made. But, you know, and I was basically ready to move out that night. But then I realized as I was packing, one sec, if I'm moving out right now, this guy owes me like $700. He owes me my rent back. So I went downstairs and said, if I'm going right now, I want my rent back. And he's like, no, 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 no. And like, I'll give you 15. Up the 15th, I want half the month. No, 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 I'm taking this deposit, to clean his carpet. Making me pay for something that I didn't do.
It makes no sense. How can you? I don't understand what the guy is trying to. It's like your landlord is retarded.
He does have a bit of a speech disability, and I try not to judge people based on stuff like that, but
Did you? Why didn't you try to question his logic? So you should have
I
said,
did. I did. I told him I even researched it, which I did because the day that he actually said something about it, I went online and looked, does the release smell at all? And I said if it's
yeah.
wet, yeah, I could,
No,
smell
I'm
for
talking about how can you do that thing in your room and get it on your carpet on his carpet out there.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I went to see does it smell, and if it doesn't smell, then his thing is blown out of the woodwork, right? You know,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and I found that yeah, it does can have a smell for if it's wet for a few hours, maybe a few days, but that stuff doesn't stay wet that long. And if it's dry, it doesn't have any smell at all. Yeah, that's not how any of this works on any level. Yeah, I know that. Like when he first said about it, I was this is an uncomfortable discussion. I know. When he first said about it, I was so blown away. Like I didn't want to say no right off the bat because that this guy's a flick in this area. But I wanted. I forgot to put us back together. um, but I wanted to do a little bit of research, and I did that. Uh, please take it to a landlord tribunal, get the minutes, and read the case decision. Oh, I just wanted to talk about Matrix 4. Well, I guess we can try and get back on that topic. I mean, good night, Spoon. Yeah, I emailed, hopefully the landlord tenancy thing or BC government about this, saying what can I do, you know, like I'm going back on sure what I can do in the meantime, and obviously I don't want to go out there and come back just for $350, and it costs probably more in flight and expenses just to go there and come back. So if I can do anything from being in Ontario, you know, fine. If not, as much as I hate to, I will say screw it, screw the money. Okay, so let's, for everybody's sake, I guess, try and get on something else. It's just part of unfortunately, part of the catalyst that sent me spending back to Ontario. I'd ask what Matrix 4 is about, but I barely kept up with one, and I lost track of 2 and 3. I don't know what a tribunal is. Is that like suing people? Not quite. Canada is strange. I don't think it's Canada in this case, Tim. I think it's my landlord because I've never heard that from like anybody else. I've never even been approached with that question by anybody else, let alone that logic. But what is a tribunal? It's sort of I'm not sure what a tribunal is, a kind of court. Yeah, that I was gonna say. But it's not as quite as official. It's almost an arbitration. I think arbitration is the word, or I think I'm somewhere between an arbitration and a court. They do have a bit of authority to render verdicts. I think they're as good as a regular court. Here's everything you need to know about Matrix 1 to 3, according to fans. Matrix 1 is the bomb. Um, but yeah, you know, I know, I know what he's doing is highly illegal with me, but I care but don't care. If I can get my money back some way, fine, but I don't want to be too much of a hassle. Number one, is the greatest movie ever made. It's actually prophetic. We are living in a simulation. Yeah, and two and three is about defeating this simulation and freeing everybody from it.
I think I think some people read too much in the movies. That's
Yeah,
just me.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Movies are not meant to be allegories of any sort, and people make them that sometimes, and maybe they can be used for that. Yeah, sure, you can find a message in movies. Whether it's a movie that the what the creator intended is a different story.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like if this was a simulation, why would they leave clues to tell you that's a simulation? That's retarded.
Well,
I mean,
well, well,
I mean, seriously, what kind of idiot thinks that this world is a simulation?
well, and
What would be the point?
they are saying in the Matrix, of course, deja vu, little glitches or whatever. it's a computer. There's always going to be glitches, right? Maker is definitely an allegory, a sci-fi retelling of early Christianity theology. Yeah, that's obviously a lot of people definitely think the first one is. I saw that very much in the Matrix the first time I saw it. I saw it at a men's retreat. My pastor brung it for everybody to watch, and like
Good night,
some
Spoon.
people were upset. Some people were upset about it. They didn't get it. I obviously saw it, but the creators of it, from what I know, I've heard them comment on um, their other their last one or whatever, and or comments around that time that they're not Christian and they it wasn't meant that way for them, as from what I get. Well, they didn't say it wasn't meant that way, but with them not being Christians and they're avidly against Christianity, from what I got. I would say it was definitely not meant to be that, but definitely a lot of Christians think of it that way. Let's see. Uh, okay. Good Night's Movie number one is the greatest movie ever made. It's an actual prophetic, and we are living in the simulation with that. Aberration, aberration. Uh, it would be planting. Oh, aberration. Yeah, my mouth just does not want to work tonight. Would be planting trees of some sort. The word that I'm actually trying to say is another kind of dispute resolution. Yeah. Two, you are not allowed to dislike. Two is one, and one is a prologue. Two is real, and one, and you can't say anything bad about two. Well, I'm saying something bad about two. It was not as good as number one or three.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. He just did that right there. You'll have to hunt him down. Good night, Spoon. He committed blasphemy.
And well, actually, saying the fans say it. I'm not sure how much of a fan he is. Next one says they have nothing to say about three. Up says Matrix is definitely an allegory, a sci-fi retelling early Christian theology. Four calls people retarded. I might be able to agree with that. Early Christians thought this world was a simulation. Says thing. Yeah, and you, in a sense, you see that in not quite early Christians, but in the last battle with what's his name, uh, Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. He almost puts it in that in a sense. In a sense, compared to eternity, this is a simulation, but you know, I guess it depends on how you look at it, and that's why they don't recognize four. Says Goodnight Spoon, a version of Gnosticism. Uh, the Gnostic Gospels and very much of the early church was Gnostic. They they were denounced and destroyed by the imperial church councils. Rick, I'm talking about fans. Well, that was Timothy who thought you were going to get me. But Gnosticism went back to Zordaism centuries before
Say what?
Christianity.
What did I miss?
I was saying the Gnosticism went back to Zoradizzy. I can't pronounce that. Um, I wouldn't say the early church was, especially if you read the Gospels that we have, which were much closer than the Gnostic Gospels, and the letters that Paul wrote. The letters were even closer than the Gospels that Paul wrote, and the Gospels that we have were like within 70 AD. I think most of the Gnostic Gospels are 300 or 400 years removed, if not all. Uh, I don't think Zorro rides horses. Zorro rides horses. Gnostic told that the god Old Testament was corrupt, evil God, and that God was evil and created this world. Paul Revere. No, Paul was, yes, Paul was revered. Uh, yeah, so I got an interesting few days, like 168 hours from now, I will be in Hepworth. So hopefully, and hopefully I will be chatting with you guys 168 hours from now. Rick, I don't think I approve of the Bible talk, and that's a different discussion. We've moved on. Some angel avatar sent the Gnostic priests to teach world truth that Balboa is the first creation. Okay. I don't know. I don't know a lot about the Gnostic Gospels, but I know a little. Okay, Tim is muted, but I don't know why he's not talking.
Well, I was just waiting for him to get done with all his
Comments?
obscure Bible knowledge.
Um, There we go. Yep, people might like that. Our name is back up. Same conversation, Rocky. Well, hopefully we've moved on from that one topic. Good night, Spoon. And learning Gnostic teachings, we can reunify with the real God, not Yahweh. Okay. Okay, talk.
Hello, hello. Oh, I guess he muted. Hey,
Yes, I got a phone call, Tim. You talk to people.
okay, I'll talk to these degenerates. How's it going, everybody? And I mean that with love. Let's hope he's not doing anything he doesn't want anyone to hear. So what's up? What's up, everybody? I'm not some monkey to dance for you, elk, but I will show you something cool though. I just got this in the mail. That's pretty freaking cool. I'm gonna keep this. But it is a copy of Melvin #1 Special Edition. All right. Wrap around cover, see? Yeah, it's from RJ. But I think it turned out pretty nice. Yeah. Got a little extra art right there. Bam. I'm thinking about it. I'd like to just get people to come on and just chill with, on a regular basis. But because I just feel awkward when it's just me talking to myself. Technically I'm talking to myself right now, but I have your comments to kind of, yeah. They got a little section in the back there for their little. I think this is the best part right here. Bam. If this light would not reflect off it, you could tell that's a barcode. Melvin, Velvet Comics, brought to you by Critical Blast. Yep. So that's that, I think I'll be getting the first issue of Zed and Odysseus from Mixum. Oh yeah, I did I did one live stream just to try it out, but it only works when there's people that come on, and I have people to actually work off of, and just because me just talking by myself. Although this is me talking by myself, reading comments, it's kind of difficult because what do I say to myself? I'm not much into the whole drama thing because I really don't find a reason to care as much. So, what do I care about my book, and I care about various other things. I'm watching the Shogun miniseries. I think it's a miniseries. Is it a miniseries or is it a TV series? Because it has an awful lot of episodes for just being a remake of a miniseries. Anybody know? Anybody watching Shogun? What's the devil's version of Melvin, Elk? Explain to me.
The devil's version of Melvin is Smelvin.
Smelvin?
Yeah.
Maybe Smelvin is the one who made his carpet smell funky. Damn, that's Smelvin.
Oh, let's see. Good Night Spoon was, wait, Tim is here? Yes. And then he says hi to you, as you probably already read.
Actually, Elk,
the
new episode is out right now.
Elk says, entertain us, Tim. Nice from RJ. Are you still doing your own channel? Still doing your channel? I think you answered that, did you?
Yeah.
Looks good. Elk says, I got to get one so I have both good version and the original.
I'm interested in this. What makes Melvin perverse, corrupt? Explain
Obviously, he means the Vic King version.
Oh yes, no, I had his stink removed from the book. His filth will no longer be allowed in the book.
So I was right. Smell it. That's smelling body. Good Night Spoon says, I don't remember if I said it, but the one show I saw, you made a good host, as I recall.
Timothy answered nothing. What did I? Okay, Good Night Spoon. What did I not answer? You tell me.
And then that's why I never went into media. I feel psychotic talking to myself. So do I.
Exactly. I agree with him.
And I'm saying I'm watching Shogun 2. what day does it come out? I'm on episode 6. Good Night Spoon says weed. The answer to something. Elk says the perverse, corrupt, original Melvin art entertains me immensely.
But I have the secret, corrupt version of Melvin, a very gnostic concept. Huh? I don't know what Elk is smoking, but it must be some pretty good shit. I apologize. Hello, Good Night Spoon. How are you today, sir?
He's like, I said hello and you did not respond.
I hurt his feelings. I'm sorry. I have a tendency to hurt people's feelings, and I don't mean to.
But speaking of RJ and you putting out your books through him, so to speak, I'm actually in the middle of doing that too. Actually, last Tuesday when I got off of this stream, and I actually ended up in a RJ had sent me a message about possibly, putting my books together and putting it out through him.
Oh, there you go.
And I got him and George in a chat, and I gave them the files that I had, and they're going over them to correct any grammar or whatever that needs to be corrected. Unfortunately, they're not the good files, so that needs to be corrected. The ones when I get the good ones, when I get that hard drive looked after,
Right.
I'll be able to give them and they can do something with that stuff then, or correct stuff, So my stuff hopefully in the next month or so should be going worldwide, just like yours to them. And that's going to have Canadian Shield 1 and 2,
Right.
and Snowdrift in. It's going to be a collected volume of all 3 of those. And they're going to have my coloring book out. Getting my coloring book put out too.
There you go. I responded. All is well with the universe.
So no, there is no none of that on that Good Night Spoon. Want me to send you the PDF Canadian Shield? I presume you have that. Yeah, I have the Canadian Shield 1. I have all the PDF versions, but I think the version that I got now of Canadian Shield 1, it has all the grammar and all that corrected. Well, I'm not even sure which one you got offhand. Hold on a sec. Where did I put my comments? Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Entertain the folks.
And here we are now. Entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious.
Okay. Yeah, you need Google Drive. Yeah, I have Google Drive. Yeah, I save all of my purchased PDFs and other comics on Google Drive. That's where I have them now. I'm not sure which version you have, but this is the latest version, remastered. It's the same story, but I went in and redid the coloring, tweaked some of the artwork. Oh, I don't think you're supposed to put that in Google Drive. That's what Google Drive is for. I think he's trying to say what he said earlier about the hard drive having too much of something, which I don't have. So yeah, pretty soon, number one, number two, but this one, I think all the everything is edited, how it's supposed to be. The only thing that might be have to be done from the original files is some of the margins corrected. Some of them are a little too close to the edge.
Here's a question: are you gonna do that spin-off of Space Tree? When is that gonna happen?
I wasn't planning it anytime soon.
You keep denying us Space Tree.
Nice princess, nachos, nachos, mine. But yeah, but number two, I had me and Metal went through that, and we went through Snowdrift, I believe, and got all the corrections done. But before I had saved them anywhere, and I was realigning all the margins and stuff. Before I got that done, I accidentally messed up my hard drive. That's the great happening. That's how the great happening happened. Okay. Good Night Spoon's like, Timothy was there for Space Tree. He's like an OG. Someone's hacked Hollywood's cloud account. Okay.
Yep. I am an OG. You better recognize. That's right.
Well, I don't think you're an OG, but that's definitely close to the beginning because Space Tree, of course, was created once I started doing stuff on my comic, actually drawing it up myself and doing it online and showing it all. When I finally did it, and that was about a year or so after I'd started. About a year after I'd started my channel, I believe. I don't think we can blame Mexico for that. This is Good Night Spoon. Blame them for what? And Timothy's typing something in the chat. Hey, and everybody, if you haven't already, like, share. Let's try and get some more people in here. Where is everybody tonight? You know, this is my last stream in Chilliwack. I thought putting that up might get some people here.
Yes.
Hollywood hack.
This is the last time he'll ever Chilliwack. It's the reason why he's getting kicked out.
So my next stream should be in Hepworth, Ontario. Hopefully I will be on next Tuesday. Same cross time, not same cross place.
Exactly. He'll be calling from the inside of his trailer.
It'll be happy trails for me. I don't know how the song goes.
Then don't try to sing it.
The Hollywood hack. I'm thinking about applying for jobs in Hollywood. Says a Good Night Spoon. Good Night Spin.
Yeah, he wants to. He wants to eventually work for P. Diddy.
Oh yes, and for those of you that haven't heard, Dillard's Place is almost back together. Last time I heard, they were just needing to get the kitchen in order from what I got. So, that's good. So I'm not sure whether they've actually moved back into the house and just doing cooking outside or not. Yeah, but anyone who began watching who isn't kind of a pervert, stop watching. You brought up your horrific landlord conflict. Probably. So does that mean Timothy, Elk, and Goodnight Spoon are all perverts? Elk?
I'm not some degenerate. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. I'm not that kind of person. I just think it's funny that your landlord accused you of doing that in the stairwell on his
No, no,
carpet.
no, no. No, he did not accuse me of doing it in the stairwell on this carpet. He's saying with me doing in my room where I am right now, that it made the smell from that somehow got up and went all the way to the door, went through the door, and onto his carpet.
That's still funny though.
It's even more ludicrous that. Well, maybe it's not quite as ludicrous, but I'm
I
not
think
sure
it's,
which is more ludicrous, but
I think you need. I think you should be allowed to slap him one time for even asking you that question. There should be a
yeah,
law passed that you get to slap your landlord one time.
uh, good night from that. It says,
Did he just say,
actually,
"Yeah, do it again"? I'll super chat you $50. Good lord,
uh,
what is this about coming to?
actually have a lead. Actually, I have a lead on PL mount work. Okay, what is PL mount work? Good night, Spoon. I've tried multiple times to change the topic to Matrix 4, but don't degenerate. Says good night, Spoon. And Up says, yeah, do it again. I'll super chat you $50. I ain't doing that on air for no amount of money.
Oh, maybe talking about Matrix 4 is what makes you a degenerate.
Um, well, actually, I've been watching Invincible, the new Invincible, and Cinema Lenses. Oh, okay, cool. And I've actually started reading the comic. I got it online and been reading it since then. I'm up to issue 5, I think. Finished issue 5, and actually, it's a little bit different than TV series for sure. That I can see the various similarities. They don't have much of the government stuff in it so far compared to in the comics compared to the TV stuff. Just hey, I went with Matrix 4, but you all kept pulling me back. I'm trying to get off it too, and everybody keeps pulling me back, especially Timothy. Goodness, when his story checks out. Whose story checks out? Um, and
Oh, wait, I was muted. I was gonna say what? Don't you bring me into this? You're the one who brought it up. I just thought it was funny.
yeah, I meant to bring it up for like 2 seconds, and then it became the topic of conversation for like 30 minutes, half an hour, or
Because
45 minutes.
because it's funny as hell.
Well, and then the problem is people kept coming in and wanting to know what the hell we were talking about. I'm not sure whether that movie's any better, and I really know nothing about
I
that
think
franchise.
to answer Elk's question, I think new episodes come out on Tuesday. At least down here they do.
Well, it'd probably be the same for Elk because, well, it depends on how you get them. But yeah, so Yeah, my dad says he doesn't have high-speed internet, so I'm not sure what streaming is going to be like at his place. Maybe it's out of this place, and then it's also how far it will go out into what how far whether it'll go out of the house. So it's going to be, I'm not sure whether, like I said, I'm not sure whether I'm going to have a stream next week. He's trying to set stuff up, during this week for me to arrive next Tuesday. Like I said, he's going to pick me up at the. Uh, like, do you mean when does it come out each week? Because there's 4 episodes out, I believe, already out. 3 to 4 episodes. And actually, I'm not minding X-Men '97. It's not too bad. There's a couple things. Yeah, 4 episodes out. And I've been watching Invincible too, the cartoon, as I was saying. I got a bit before I catch up to where I am in the comic books before I hit season 2. Yes, I've watched 3 of X-Men. Well, there is a 4th episode out. Elk. So if you want to catch that, well, there's something else that recently came out too that I just live action. What is oh, we can't. No, I deleted it, so I probably.
X-Men 3 has to be the worst one.
No, well, he's meaning he's watched 3 of the X-Men '97, I believe, episodes. Is it because of the ghost children? It says
Ghost children?
I have no idea what he's talking about either.
Neither do I. Oh, I despise ghost kids.
Why do you hate ghost kids?
Because they're ghosts and they're kids.
Remakes? Oh, I think he's talking about the Freddy thing. I don't know what it was that I watched recently. There's something else. I know there's 3 things I'm watching at the moment. Kruger. Good genre fiction, I guess. I can't. I hate that I can't remember what the other show that I'm watching is. It comes out on Thursdays. I know that. Any new shows that they just released the first 2 episodes? Came out this week. Watch the first 2 episodes. Oh, come on. Why can't I think of this? I hate that. Were we watching Resident Alien? No, not me. It's not a Marvel Star Wars, probably. No, it's not Star Wars. They put the first 2 episodes together. Geez, I hate this when I can't remember something like that. The series finale was last week. They have short seasons. Oh, Resident Alien. I've never even heard of that. Or
no, I haven't heard of that either.
Maybe there is. out on Thursdays. It would have been the 4th. Okay, so that's not. Oh, let's see. I'm just trying to figure out what the show was. Uh, yes, it's TV show. April reset. Genre. Can't remember. Cheese. That's not going to be good if I want to watch it this Thursday. Oh, let's see. Okay, I watch high art like Dave Made a Maze and the fair. Oh gosh, it's a live action dark horse comic filmed in BC. Oh, okay. Watch Resident Alien. It's a blatant remake of Northern Exposure mixed with Mork and Mindy. Are you sure you
Huh.
it was Star Wars?
Supposedly they're going to do a TV series about John Carter on Disney Plus.
Okay. Now I know what Mork and Mindy is, and I'm assuming Tim does. Does anybody else besides Elk have they heard of Northern Exposure? Because I was thinking that was a Canadian show.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of that before?
Nope.
Okay, so I obviously know what it is.
I mean, what Canadian shows have I heard besides Letterkenny and Shoresy, which is the the one the Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember those shows.
Well, I know about Trailer Park Boys. I've never watched it. Uh, let's see. Alex says it's all comedy and sci-fi tropes, but the basic storytelling is good. It draws you into liking the characters. Strange that they would make a show based on a movie that bombed. Northern Exposure was one of the biggest 1990s American shows. Okay. Northern Exposure was overhyped here in the 2000s. Yeah, Goodnight Spoon's a little closer, probably to a dromedary about New York doctor who had to move to Alaska. What? No, oh, Northern Exposure. That's something I've never seen. I might do that for my reaction channel once I get settled somewhere. My Pied Piper of Hamilton. Are you falling asleep, Tim?
What? No.
Could have sworn I heard you snoring there.
Nah, I'm not snoring. You're imagining things. Continue. I'll give you a
Okay.
topic to discuss. Canada is neither a can nor a duh.
Was it? Oh, I. Is it? It's a duh. It's not a can. I need to watch Letterkenny. He says Goodnight Spoon. And it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
Star
that's a
Wars
good.
Goodnight Spoon, it was Star Trek. Star Trek, yes.
Yeah,
Letterkenny.
Letterkenny's a good show. I like that one. You're hanging out with your friends the other day.
Yeah. Goodnight Spoon says, all I know, to be fair and nice, onesies doesn't come in men's. That's what they're saying. Yeah, the show that I couldn't think of what it was, Star Trek Discovery, the 5th season premiered. It seems
I
all right before.
Honestly, I stopped paying attention to Star Trek after Deep Space Nine, TV show wise,
Or
and I watched the remakes.
the movies, you mean, of course, I
Yes,
believe.
yeah.
Well, I would honestly say Voyager is worth it, and Enterprise is worth it. Discovery is not worth it. Well, Discovery past seasons 3 and 4 are worth it for sure. Although I think you need to go through season 2. Although you probably do need to do season 1. Although
I think most people bailed on Picard. Have you heard about the show lately? No, you haven't.
yeah, well, what was it? Season 2 was good of Picard. Season 1 was and season 3 was all right. Uh, yeah, well, season 1 and 2 of season 1 of Discovery is definitely completely horrible. Season 3, season 2 is barely good or barely all right, but seasons 3 and 4 are actually really good. I'm not sure about season 5 yet. This is its final season. Picard's, like I said, season 1 is Season 2 was really good because you had, I think, the full Enterprise cast in season 2. Or am I thinking season 3, where they did fan service with it? Paramount just hates it. Bonds rated as junk. And I'm trying to think if there was anything between. I don't think there was anything besides the movies, the remake movies, between number 1 or between Enterprise and Discovery. They brought back the Enterprise. There is nothing after Deep Space Nine, Commitment says.
Pretty much.
It will have to fire sell its assets, Star Trek, to go into receivership. Okay. Well, I think that's the problem with Star Trek. The movies are owned by one company, and the TV or the rights to the movies are owned by one company, and the TV show rights are owned by another company.
Hmm.
I think the TV rights are owned by CBS, and the movie rights, of course, are owned by Paramount. And Goodnight Spoon says, I have a question for you, Tim.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Let me see what you got here.
He hasn't said it yet, but
All right.
he hasn't
Shoot.
written it yet. Oh,
Any moment now.
dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum. Did you watch DS9 documentary where the cast reunites and writes a new episode?
No, I did not.
I did not do that either. I didn't
Was
even
it,
know
was
it
it called?
existed.
Was it called DS9? And the episode was called DS10. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself because of that joke.
So they killed off Nog. You know, I like Nog, but that guy was short.
Did you see the episode where they threw eggs at him? And he was an eggnog. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself again for that joke. I'm sorry.
And Kira becomes Saint. And okay, I think he's trolling us now. Did Cisco come back at all?
He was eventually reunited with Ebert.
I think if they did all that stuff, I think they were trolling people. Question is, would it have taken place after Deep Space Nine, the ending? Because Cisco, that's what I want to know. What happened with Cisco is, does he ever come back from the prophets? He did not, as far as I watched. Okay, well then what is him even being there? That's the only problem with him going in there and that portal being able to bring anybody to any time. Is that's the one person I can see them trying to get into uh, the new track. And unfortunately, the problem is with this new track, you know, most of the stuff they're putting it in times that we already know. You know, like I like that, I guess, in a sense, but unfortunately, too many people are going to be wanting to see characters or versions of characters that we know and love. You know, in them. Like when Next Generation was aired, we all wanted to know what happened to Kirk, Spock, McCoy, all of them. Scotty, Uhura. We never did find out what happened to most of them. We saw, of course, Bones in the first episode. There was, of course, Spock was in
Do
an
you think
episode.
they'll make
The episode.
an all senior citizen version of Star Trek? You know, when the Enterprise is going really slow with the left turn signal on.
Well, they couldn't because, except for like three people of the original crew, of their main crew, they're all dead.
You just put skeletons where they would be sitting, and it'd just be like Bones, Bones. Why won't you talk to me, Bones? He's been ignoring me for centuries. I'm so alone.
Goodness, but I'm not Charlie Kira becomes the leader of the Dominion. Oh, okay, that's what you meant by Satan. Okay, I'd like to know how that happened because as long as she does something good with it, was the Dabble girl in it, Chase Madison. She was the first celebrity I met at a sci-fi convention. I have a signed action figure of her. Cool, cool, cool. Kirk died by Malcolm McDowell. Your hero died senile and low on cash and being exploited by rival factions of her family. Oh wow!
She
I
ended up
think
on
the
a
Dabble
street
girl
corner
is,
drinking malt liquor.
and the other signs pointing to drug addiction. Oh wow. I saw her at a convention, Uhura, that is, and actually it was in
Oh,
Hamilton.
was Goodnight Spoon talking about? Was Elle talking about the actress or the character?
I think the actress.
Oh shit! She really got screwed at the end, didn't she?
Well, depending on how much is true, of course. Sometimes the rumor mill runs amok, and you don't know what's true or not. Um, no, she's actually evil, plotting against the Federation. Okay, that would make no sense for Kira. But yeah, I saw Uhura at a convention, and I like Uhura and Nichelle Nichols and all, but she was wanting like I think I forget how much. I think minimum of 60, probably more. For or maybe it was closer to 100. For a a picture with her that you take with your own phone or have taken with your own phone. It's like, okay, you, who do you think you are, William Shatner or Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelly? She didn't even own her nice but modest house. Oh wow, that is just crazy. And Goodnight Spoon puts a link to what he's talking about the cast DS9 getting together and writing for the documentary. Uh, that's crazy, with all the money that she would have got from Star Trek and that the family probably still gets. Well, might not be as much as it once was, you know. And by my thing, like I don't mean to diminish Nichelle Nichols, but she did not do as much, as far as I know, as William Shatner. William Shatner's had I don't know how many different series that he's been in. Okay, says her boyfriend was booking her for conventions, signing to pay her mortgage, while her family were also trying to book her into other conventions. Okay, if that's true, it's definitely whacked. Like I said, I forget when she was there. It was in Hamilton, of course, and I believe, and it was in the convention center. Hey, Sketchbook, how are you? Although she had seen episodes. Oh wow. I had heard something in the last year or two, but this was a little bit before that she had died. I think 3 or 4 years. I think I had heard something about her a little bit down when she on her luck, for lack of a better saying it, when she moved. How are you tonight, Sketch? But if that's true, it's just ridiculous. Taking advantage of her in her old age. You know, uh, what else is there to talk about for the next 20 minutes or so? Oh, Sketch. Something you might want to hear. I was telling the others. Through RJ, my comics, Canadian Shield 1, 2, and Snowdrift 1 are going to be collected into a volume. And they're going to end up being available on Amazon, probably Walmart.com, Barnes and Noble,
.ca.
and you can,
Rick Piper is going worldwide, baby.
yes. Well, technically, I've through crowdfunding, I've had stuff sell in, of course, the land down under, Australia, Finland, and England, and of course Canada and the States. And Goodnight Spoon says, no, but nobody tells Sketchbook anything that happened here tonight. Well, Rick, no. Goodnight Spoon. Well, he can always go back and listen if he wants to later. Dodging rain, hail, and thunder while working. It says, Sketch. Well, sorry to hear that, that you have to dodge the rain and the hail. And I'm not sure how you dodge thunder, because, that's a sound. Now you might have to dodge the lightning if it strikes a little too close. And if it's striking that close, you're really in danger. It could be really jolting, or it could just be a little electrifying. You could get really energized. You could feel a little sparky. I thought you were going to delete the stream on account of, all the pictures for Doc. No, I wasn't planning on deleting this stream. So did you make a decision about staying or going? Oh, well, didn't you see the title? This is my last stream in Chilliwack. I am going back. My ticket's been purchased. And it's basically, I'm not sure whether I would have stayed past this month, but just some stuff that happened with my landlord that if you want to know back, you can go closer to the beginning of the stream and watch later to find out.
Warning: we hear about what he gets accused of, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it.
It's not so much accused. I get asked whether I'm doing something, and well, technically I was. But it's like, why wouldn't you think somebody would be doing that unless they're a monk? Oh, oh, Goodnight Spoon says, Sketch, stop asking questions you don't want the answers to. How does he know he doesn't want the answers to? Rule number one of being an internet lawyer. And he says, so what's the plans for Hamilton? Well, I'm not going back to Hamilton right off the bat. I'm flying out next Monday morning or Monday evening night at 10:30. I get into Kitchener, Ontario at 5:45, and my dad is picking me up, and I'm gonna live at his place in Hepworth, Ontario. Good night, Spoon says, "Oh, I give up." And what's rule number two of being an internet lawyer? Good night, Spoon. What my plans are before on that? Well, obviously, probably try and find a job. I don't want to be much at my dad's beyond the fall because that's going to be it gets a little chilly because I'm going to be staying in a camper in his backyard, and he lives a little bit further north than me, 2 or 3 hour drive, and they get a lot of snow in the winter. Rule Timothy says rule number two is never admit when you are wrong. Good Night Spoon says rules 2 and 3 you don't talk about Internet Lawyers Club. Well, by saying rule number one, haven't you talked about Internet Lawyers Club? Or is that just not a club at that point? And if you're not in it, can you talk about it? And are you in it? The club, that is. no, you can talk about rule number one. But if you can't talk about the Internet Lawyers Club and you're talking about rule one, then you're talking about the Internet Rules Club, which is defying rules 2 and 3. Why are we talking about sandwiches? Did you look up YouTube videos for Canva, KDP, and type of books for you to make with just a PC? The answer better be yes, right? No, I forgot. My After I got off here last Tuesday, I had received a message from RJ Carter about talking about possibly him putting out my books worldwide, like on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, different places like that. So I ended up talking with him, and they're going to be with him and George Gatsis. More George, I got them the files for what I have of number one, and they're going to be George is going to be putting numbers Canadian Shield 1 and 2 and Snowdrift 1 in a collective volume to go on there. And then a bunch of crap happened on Wednesday that has had me last Wednesday. That made me. That's thrown my life into turmoil. We'll say that. And that's about making the Canva thing is about making coloring books. Rick, I love your books, but you could use some basic, grounded, traditional storytelling. Okay, and I'm not sure what you mean exactly. Let's see. Spoon is like 2 and 3 comes after 1. It's like the cardinal sins or whatnot. I need a club sandwich. Sandwich. Oh, he forgot the H in sandwich. That's what's thrown me off. I agree with that. Unfortunately, you know what? Like make Canadian shields enemy French Canadian throw enemies of Canada. Take inspiration from Matrix 4. I'm not sure. You know what? I'm gonna let people check this out. Number 1 and 2 haven't been something that I've written, really written. Let's see. Let's see. Docs. I will put a link for anybody who wants to check it out to Insecto 1, which is something that now it might be not formatted really good in dry docs here, so you'll have to. And of course, this is an origin story. So let's see. Here. Just want to make sure anybody that's getting this can just, yeah, it's just a viewer. Oh. That will introduce conflict into the book that parallels life. You call him the image. And Snowdrift needs at least a love triangle or a postmodern love. Well, I do certain things like these first few books, fortunately or unfortunately, I did not write them. I had a little bit of hand in Canadian Shield 1 and 2. I think what my writing itself, there's a little bit more. I introduced stuff. For Canadian Shield, I'm just doing my thing for my company has been villain of the week or villain of the month, I guess is more it. Although I'm going to have some recurring villains, either in a book or they're going to pop up in another book at some point in my first quote unquote year and a half, we'll say. Although I know they're not coming out that fast. What I had originally planned. Let's see, did that link take place? I'm looking at the wrong spot. Some things I have planned, some things I don't. For Canadian Shield, of course, the first year is him going from up north to Hamilton and, settling into society and, getting situated, if you will. Okay, so I was distracted with the Demon Shield concept. What all happened? Well, I just put a link to the first script of Insecto. That is a comic that I wrote myself, although it's been quite some time. Probably a good really thing on my thing is I forget which episode's the flame. There's two. I introduce a couple characters. I'm not sure even whether I have it up, and I'm not sure where. Flame. I'll have to. Let's see. We're not getting anything from Timothy. No comments from the peanut gallery there, Tim? I think Tim's fallen asleep.
No. I'm still here. Well, I actually probably should be wrapping it up anyway. I got work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's
It's 2 issues.
So that's Melvin #1, #2 on Walmart, Amazon, and Barnes and Noble websites. Check it out.
So you're taking off?
Yeah, I gotta get some sleep.
Okay, cool. Have a
Peace.
good night.
Yep, good night.
Okay. Do I have this right in here? Okay. Oh, I put the wrong thing down. Good evening, Kim. Look, the stuff I'm talking about is. Yeah. I get you. Don't let your characters all be nice to each other and productivity cooperate with each other. Give them conflict desires, conflicting ways of communicating their needs. Yeah. Well, a lot of stuff is gonna come in time. Obviously, Canadian. They're not supposed to be a team till a year and a half. So I'm developing each character individually in their own books. They're obviously going to have some. There's going to be conflict. I know I got a storyline I know this is way down the road, but my character, the Wiz, he's going to get a little bit of an inflated ego, and he's going to be kicked off the team, and everybody's going to on the team disassociate with them, and then they're going to change where um, their hideout, if you will. um, Uh, Rick, would you consider yourself alt-right? I don't know. Look, yeah, like I said, I get that sketchbook. Just my last week has been crazy. Yesterday was the craziest. Um, I don't know how to. I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get so I know where I'm living from month to month. And I guess going to my dad's is going to be a good thing because the most part, I know I can stay there as long as I want. I really don't want to stay there past like October, November, just because of cold, as I was saying. Who's all right? What did I miss? Good evening, Timothy. I thought Canva went out of business earlier today. Rick is. Hey, Joshua. No, they just bought. Oh, Affinity. Rick, you need to remember two things: crafting stories and Chekhov's gun. Yeah, I was watching something that mentioned that and explained it. But I know in what year 5, if you will, year 5, I know there's gonna be a whole lot of hell, for lack of a better thing in my comics, and I'm sure I'm gonna be creating some stuff in it. I know it's hard to explain now, um, like my character Snowdrift. She does not like the media. Like the first time that they come up to her, uh, and I'm not sure which issue this is in. It's probably 2 or 3. The first time they come up to her and try and get an interview with on camera, she freezes her or something to that effect. I can't remember exactly what, but she like puts her hand over where the lens is so they can't. And she nicely tells them to go take a hike. Um, she has a friend that she's met that, of course, she's trying to hide her secret identity from, and she finds out. And the friend happens to be a reporter, so then there's some conflict there. But the friend is a Christian too, so I'm working things in a little bit, a little bit. There was one thing that I was gonna do in Snowdrift. Like I gave her a job at the beginning of number 1. I was gonna actually take that job away and give her another job, but I'm not sure whether I want to do that. Rick, what is your favorite movie, book, or story? Don't slowly explain the conflict. Begin the story intro versa, then flash back to explain. No, well, I'm not sure what you mean by intraversa. begin in the middle of the action. Some I do, some I don't. Like each story has to be a little different. Like my character Electide, when you first see her, um, she is in costume and she's falling off a building. Hey, Mike, how are you? And thanks for stopping by and hitting the like. Um, then it's flashback. Yeah, and then of course I go into a flashback saying explaining she got there. I do that in issue 2 with her. I'm trying to create a different vibe feel for each comic. You know, each one you want to be a bit different. You don't want it to seem the same. My Ozona character, I'm having her, although I guess Electide sort of did it too, with that and explain, but Ozona it breaks the fourth is about my character Ozona. I know in the first issue, I'm not sure whether I did it in the ones that I've written for her after that. Again, I'm having her break the fourth wall in responding to the audience and all that. That's reading. Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. I want to give tone, each book a tone of its own flavor. Um, I'm not sure whether or who's read the Canadian Shield and I'll say Snowdrift. Do you find those two so far anyways, have you found those two like too different? Are they different, shall we say? The writing styles, do you find them somewhat similar? Or the different? Then again, like I said, although there were Canadian Shield 1 and Snowdrift 1 were sort of written by the same person. Canadian Shield 2 of it was a different person than those two. So I'm trying to give each book its own flavor, and all that. Um, I know you're not on Facebook, but I do have a bunch of these stories on Facebook. Well, I have more of the Canadian Shields on Facebook. Um, but I have a who writes stuff. Oh no, George Gatzis doesn't write my stuff. 90% of my 99% of my stuff was probably written 25, 30 years ago. That I have written at this point. A buddy of mine, Chris Waters, wrote a few of them with my idea of the character, sort of how he was, a basic idea of who he was, and that. Another buddy of mine, Neil, or, wrote some stuff again based on a little bit that I gave him, like the characters and all that. Um, but they ended up flaking on me or wanting out. I'm not sure how you want to say it. Maybe flaking is too harsh of a word. And after a certain point, I've written pretty much everything. I never met George Gatzis more than like 5 years ago, something like that. And we've been, okay, Good Night Spoon saying, huh, how to what? You were bit. No, I wasn't bit by a spider. Well, I've probably been bit by a spider, but it never gave me any powers or anything. I just met George Gatsis through YouTube a few years ago, and there was at one point that he ghosted me over a disagreement, shall we say? I don't want to get into it, at least not on air. Weren't you friends with him? Yeah. Yeah, the Muppet guy, the blue Muppet guy. He did Joe King, Joe Jle space King King. Obviously a parody character who was supposed to be a superhero called Joe King. Joe King, Joe King. He was Joe King. What happened to George? Why did he beef with you? I've went into it before. If you want to get together in a call or something off air, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. I don't really want to get into it on air. What happened to George? Well, George is still alive and kicking. Actually, um, he's actually helping out RJ with his stuff, and actually, he's editing my book right now. So, or, or re-editing. I'm not sure. Oh, I forgot the dumb name. Oh, you had beef with him. I thought something happened to him. No, no, no. Oh well, people fall out over all sorts of stuff. Yeah, this is true. He was a little too passionate. You know what I mean? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. He and RJ work together. Yeah, comics is a harsh mistress. Yeah, it can be. Like all I can say is he ghosted me a few years back over a disagreement, and what the disagreement was. Like I said, if you want to get together off air, I'm more than to. I just it's will say I've forgiven him. I went on. I was in a call with him last week with RJ, and we were fine to each other and all that. I'm cordial. I'm not holding it against him or anything. What the stuff that happened, it was more he had a beef with me than me with him about something that happened. So, and I don't like to, especially when it's years old. I don't like to dwell on it. And the only reason I'm saying anything right now is because his name got brought up in the chat. Uh, Probably Canadian Shield 4 and on, you probably will see a different tone, for lack of a better way of saying it, in the writing. Uh, then why do you bring it up? Well, as I said, his name was mentioned in the comments. And unfortunately, sometimes I ramble when some things. I dislike carnivals. He says, "Good night." I'm not sure where I took over for Snowdrift. Hmm, yeah, Flame, Insecto, Sona, The Wiz. I've done. Uh, it's just with Canadian Shield and Snowdrift that some other people wrote a few issues or had a part in them, and it's only the first few. I used to know exactly which ones are where. Uh, Too much stomach churning rides, not enough Matrix 4. I wanna go to Carnival. Well, a few weeks ago, I was at an amusement park in Cultus Lake here in the Chilliwack area. Um, okay, but we're coming up on 10 after the hour of 9, so we've been on just over 2 hours. Um, so I'm gonna thank. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Actually, I don't. It's is it IST? I know it's cultus. Let me. I'll make sure. It's a cult with a US. Cult us amusement park open in the winter. What was well? Here you said you would never join a cult. I didn't join. I would just went. Um, well, here in BC, this area, like it's been nice and warm pretty much since halfway through March. I've went outside in shorts and all that. The most it hasn't snowed since sometime in February here. Um, it's it's rainy. Can be rainy a little bit here too. So we're enjoying same difference. But it's a small park. Like I think it has a max of 20 rides, and that's including the kids ones. It snowed last week here. Well, I feel sorry for you. I haven't had snow here in over a month, and I like that part of living here. But as we're saying, I'm going to thank Timothy for coming on. Although he's not here to hear me say thank you to him, I'm going to thank everybody in the chat for coming by and chatting. It's been good having you here talking about all the wacky stuff we do. Hopefully, I will be back next Tuesday in a new location, and everything will be going a-okay. And not sure what else to say. Hopefully, we'll start putting stuff up on a regular basis at that point too. Again, hopefully you guys were enjoying the songs, the music, the possible musics. May Zeno bless you and all your children. But have you looked at other places out there? Yeah, I was looking, but I haven't been able to find a job, and I'm not sure when I'm going to. So I don't really want to waste any more money. The people that work BC that are supposed to be helping me seem a bit incompetent, in my opinion. Um, when I went in on there on March the 11th, um, they were supposed to the woman be looking for from there on. The woman was supposed to be looking into um, stuff for taking a course for either CPR, serving food safety, being able to serve alcohol, being able to um, drive a forklift. She hasn't even looked into it once, as far as I can tell, because I met with her 2 or 3 weeks later. She had to take that out. She took that all down again. I asked her last week. She hasn't gotten back to me about it. So, you know, the best thing that did there maybe is help me get my resume a little bit better. So, maybe when I go back to Ontario, I'll get a little bit more help. And, she's supposed to be looking for, contacting, employers based on, my resume and, what I might mind doing. And I've sent her a couple emails and she says she hasn't got them, but they don't come back. So I don't know how she's not getting them. So it's just crazy in my opinion. Um, so things aren't working out, and I don't know when that's going to come through. So I might as well go somewhere where I can live for free, if you will, and not use up or basically live for free. My dad would probably buy me food to eat, but I'll go get my own food, and all that, cook it and all that. I just I don't know how to say it. Uh, Maybe I'll pay for my own course when I get back to Ontario to do forklift or whatever. But hope that answers your question. Good night, Spoon. I know it's just about to end. Uh, Waste. When did that change? When did what change? Just wait for Good night, Spoon to respond. So I can respond. Probably about something that I was saying. I didn't think living at your dad's was an option. Um, he said it would probably be a good idea when he broached the subject, because I guess somebody was watching this or whatever and heard that. Uh, get on social services first thing when you get back. Don't say you've changed residence, that you were vacationing in BC. Yeah, yeah, I've definitely thought about that. I'm in a position where they would accept me now for sure in Ontario. Well, I think they would, anyways. They might not because I'm living at my dad's. That's hard to say. Um, so you continue to reside in Ontario. Yeah, yeah. Um, I was very about to do that. But when I called him up yesterday and basically said, I got to be out of here by the 15th, coming back to Ontario. And he asked whether I could go back to my cousins. I said I wasn't sure. Um, and he said about the camper up at his place. And I think that would be better, at least for a few months. Hopefully by then, I can get settled or whatever. But yeah, so I guess basically when that changed yesterday. I don't understand the nuance of what Elk is saying, but it seems to be good advice without proper context. Well, I have I was living in Ontario, Hamilton, Ontario, and I've come out to BC for 2.5 months, we'll say. So they might consider, if in coming back to Ontario and applying for social assistance or social services, because I went out of province for 2.5 months, they might not look on that favorably for me getting social assistance back in Ontario. I might have to be there 3 months or whatever before I can get on it. I think that's what he's referring to. and I definitely understand that. Yeah, I don't know what social services, welfare, government government assistance. Where the government gives you so much money per month if you're out of work. Okay, that. Yeah, we have fancy names to make it sound a little bit more not as degrading. Communism. Oh, hey Herman, how are you? Herman comes as I'm trying to end, but that's all right. It's good that he's here. I'm not sure I understand the province part. Well, this province would be state. Like, say somebody, if you lived in whatever state you're living in, I know what state, but say you lived in New York, right? And you lived there, for X number of years, and then you went to BC to live there for 2.5 months, and then you came back to New York. Do you think they would be willing to put you on welfare there? Oh, I was here for some time just listening, doing work. Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. That's the province part. It's about it'd be like moving from one state to another, going to one state to another and coming back. But maybe New York wasn't the best example because with what they're doing for certain people, they might still. So if I went to Louisiana, applied for welfare, they wouldn't give it to me. Well, if you went, well, yeah, especially right off the bat. But if you went to Louisiana, paid for your own way to live there for 2.5 months, and then came back to where you are, would the state that you're in say, "Yeah, sure, we'll give you social assistance"? Um, I would say, I don't know about in the states, but welfare here is either city or provincially run, where it's not federally run. I think, well, it's provincially run, not federally run. Yeah, and that's what he's saying, that I don't want to make myself not a legal resident of Ontario for a bit. Not that they would necessarily consider 2.5 months not legal, giving up my legal residency. I think it has to be more than 6 months, but why take the chance, as Alex sort of alluding to? So I don't know whether welfare in the States is stately run or federally run. Well, I think in Canada it is provincially run with the help of each city that you're in. What I were homeless, what state applies? Well, I can't say for sure, but I think all states you can technically, if you were in any state homeless, you could get in shelters, and as long as you're there a certain amount of time, you could get um, welfare. And I think it's the same here, which usually takes 3 months to establish residency, depending on other factors. Welfare in the states is state run, though the states get federal grants of money. Okay. And that might be the same a little bit here in Canada too, but it's basically provincially run. Uh, you could use homeless shelters every night. Yeah. If you wanted to, there's lots of people that stay on the streets that don't. And then, at least I know in Ontario, if you're in a shelter, you can apply for something where you get, a little bit of money each month while you're staying there, especially if you stay there every night or whatever. Or I'm not sure exact, or it used to be, or something like that. I've known a lot of people that, well, maybe not a lot, few people that have done that, and I've known people in the system and all that, or you could provide an oral magic, provide oral magic as a special type of. Well, basically, Elk is just saying, make sure that they don't think you've given up your Ontario legal residency. And technically, since I was here less than 3 months, but uh, like necromancy. Okay. We keep postponing this. Okay, again, thank you, Tim, for coming on. If you hear this later, which you probably won't. Um, and thank everybody in the chat for coming by. It's been great having you all here. Been great chatting with you about everything, even the crazy, wacky stuff, especially near the beginning. And I guess hopefully we will see you next Tuesday. And with that, I'm going to say bye bye. God bless. Love you all. Have a great and wonderful day, night, week, whatever it is for you. And we will see you later. And like I said, hopefully I will start putting up stuff. God bless. Love you all.